Hey everyone, I'm back again. This video is going to be specially for students who are in Canada and just begun their new phase, or for the ones who are going to be coming to Canada. So previously I made a video about international students in Canada where I had written some pretty much a brief overview of what the things to expect and all. And I got feedback from people that it's pretty helpful, so I thought of making a new video. This time I'm not going to be writing stuff. I'm going to be explaining pretty much the experience of my own when I was a student and when I had studied my 2-year student course over here. So there's a lot of things which students go through when like from the first day they step on Canada. There is a variety of things which will cause them to be stressed or tensed. They would be blank. They will come across stages where they will not know what to do or who to reach out. But I'm going to be trying my best to share my experience of what to do, what not to do, what things to expect over here, how some of the things should be done. I hope it's useful for you, and if you find it useful, please share the video along with the people who would need it really. So I'm going to be starting off with the most common question where people get stuck on. That is like where to stay, how to find a house when you come over here. Well, if you were back in your own country in Asia, let's say suppose India, we never need to worry about where to stay. Obviously we had our own house, but over here it's a completely different world. You're going to be living with a person who you might be not knowing. So there is a lot of resources where you can find places to stay. First of all, your relatives. If you have some cousins or friends already over here, you can bug them. They're going to be the ones who can find out places, because there is a lot of students who move in and out to different places or different apartments or different cities. So let's say if you contact one of your cousins and he or she is aware of a person moving, they can talk for you and you can live there basically. Or there's Kijiji. You can search for houses online to rent. There is Facebook, which is a big help. Whatever college you're going to, it will be having its own group for all the things you need, for used books, for common questions of the courses which you want to know about. There will be housing group also. If you reach out there, post in your question, you're going to be getting help, and hence you will get your housing question answered. Another easy way is if you're having a family which you know who would be keeping you as a paying guest. That's also another big easy way. You wouldn't need to worry about cooking or anything. They would be basically keeping you as a paying guest. And as far as I know, I was in Toronto before. Paying guest rates usually range between $450 to $550 a month. That includes everything: internet, electricity, food, grocery. You don't need to do anything. You just live, eat, sleep, and enjoy. You don't need to cook food if you're living as a paying guest. Another option which I would prefer is sharing. There is a lot of apartments all over Toronto, or like let's say whatever city you go to. You'll find students living there in sharing. Let's say if there is a 1-bedroom hall, there will be like 3 to 4 students living together. You can also do that. If you have your friends who are like, if you're 3 to 4 friends, you can decide together, look for apartments. You can go online and look for them. You can basically rent it. So you'll be paying a rent of usually like $900 to like $1,200 a month for a 1-bedroom hall kitchen. And it depends on what kind of apartment, where the location is, what facilities are provided. So that's a different story. We won't get into that. So regarding the housing, it's pretty easy to find. As long as you are in touch with your friends and relatives, it shouldn't be a big deal. Moving further, college registration. When you come here, you will be having no clue, first of all, of the addresses and places. And for that, we're going to be using one thing, that's our friend Google, or the transit applications which we have. Once you get your bus pass and all, it's pretty easy to roam around the city. As long as you have Google Maps, it's going to tell you exactly when the bus will be coming or the train, which stop to get off and all that, so don't worry about that. When you go to your college registration there, it's pretty easy. When I first came here, I thought it would be pretty hard to find where the office will be, who to meet, what documents to give, but trust me, it's a very easy way. There will be student advisors. They will be wearing some special kind of clothes, let's say green t-shirt or something. They help all the new students coming for registration. There will be arrows, will be boards, signs of where to go, for which process, which documents you need. So don't stress for that at all. It's gonna go all smooth. Once you're all registered for your college, you're all set to go. I would say come at least 10 days ago, like 10 days before your college starts, so you can get all of that done pretty smoothly. You will be getting your timetable. First of all, in your first semester, you won't be getting an option to choose your timetable or build it. But from second semester onwards, if you're aware of when the timetables are going to be opening, you can build your own timetable, select your own professor depending on what blocks they give. Second would be going to either Scotiabank or ICICI. You will get your GIC registered. You visit there, you just let them know you're an international student and they will help you out with getting your GIC. They will issue a credit card, debit card and all the information. And it's not as complex as we used to think when we're back home. When you come over here, everything is pretty easy. You'll find people who are specially directed to help you for specific things in banks, malls, in your college, at anywhere you go. It's step-by-step easy instructions to follow here. Along with your bank registration and all, the next thing which you should do is getting a SIM card over here. So there will be different options. There is a lot of providers with different kind of plans. You might not need to have a new phone. If your phone is unlocked from your home country, the SIM cards will work over here. If you are looking forward to buy a new phone, I would say to be patient and wait for Black Friday or Boxing Day. These are the 2 days which have the most best deals. Boxing Day is on December and Black Friday is usually in November. On these 2 days, there is a lot of sales for each and everything from electronics to clothes to whatever you think of. So let's say if most people tend to come on September intake. If you're planning to buy a new phone, I would say wait for 2 months. You'll be getting better deals. Along with the deals for phones, you'll be getting good deals for the phone plans. Let's say if there is a plan for $80 a month, regular price, you might be getting that for like $60 a month, along with some credit if you buy that. So be a little bit smart. Don't waste the money right away when you come over here. I know we're going to be getting GIC, but it's only for 2 years. So when it finishes, you will be having nothing. So better start spending your money wisely as soon as you come over here. So after your college registration is done, your bank registration is done, and your fund house, everything is all on track. One by one, it will be solved. The next thing will be finding a job. So depending on where you want to work, most people tend to do part-time jobs in food restaurants. Let's say Tim Hortons, there's McDonald's, there's Subway, there's Burger King, Pizza Hut, Domino's. We, especially Asian people, have almost everyone working in the food industry as part-time jobs. Where you can go online first of all. You can go to Kijiji, you can apply your resume there, you might be getting a reply. Another option is to go in person. That's what I would prefer also. Just print out your resume like 10 to 15 copies. Reach out to the nearest places in your area, let's say, where you can apply for a part-time job. Drop it in there and see if you get a call back from them or not. In most cases, I've noticed it's a bit crazy, but there will be students who will be working. When you give their resume to them, they're gonna be like, okay, I'll hand it to my manager. Many times I've literally seen they just throw that resume away. So what I used to do was I used to ask if there is a manager or not. If there is a manager, I would rather give my resume in person to the manager. If the manager is not there, I still never let them go. I used to ask them, when will the manager be coming? So let's say if the manager is available every day until 3 p.m., I would go the next day. but I will make sure that my resume is given to a person who would be having a look at it. So that's another tip to keep in mind. As I say, not everyone will be doing that, but I have seen such cases where people would be jealous because when you will be joining, hours are going to be affected. Like they might be getting less hours, so they might be feeling a bit jealous or insecure. So that's the reason why. So for jobs, you are usually allowed to work 20 hours a week on your social insurance number. I would say you can work up to 24 hours. It wouldn't be a big issue as long as you're not doing it every week. So now the next thing would be when you start your semester. So in the beginning of the semester, for all your subjects, you will get a weekly outline of in which week will be which test, which midterm. So you can plan in advance. Let's say if you are working part-time at some place, you can take an off if you know, like let's say in my 6th week I have an exam. You can take a day off before that, or you can plan accordingly so it doesn't affect your studies. So that's one heads up. Always have a look at your weekly outline and sort your work timetable from there. Talk with your manager in advance that I will be needing an off in 7th week and so to manage that. Over here it's a little bit, I would say studies aren't that hard here, but the workload is too much. You will be getting assignments every week, there will be online quizzes, there will be presentations or some kind of activity depending on what kind of course you're doing. There might be lab work also, lab reports. It's pretty intense, trust me. It's hard to keep up with working as well as this, but it should be pretty easy as long as you do your daily work. And it's not like India, like there is an exam next week, you start reading for it a week ago. I never used to study like 2-3 weeks in advance. I used to study like 2-3 days before whatever exam it was. For the textbooks, I would not recommend not buying them, but don't buy them if you don't need them. Because every week, whatever you study, your professor is going to be uploading notes online. I never bought a book other than because it was needed. Let's say there are some courses like maths where we had to do online quizzes. So you can either buy an access code because you need that to register yourself on the online website to give your quiz. And the quiz marks are considered as a weightage of your final marks. So you better take a textbook if you need it for online quizzes. Otherwise, there are seniors you can contact, and there is, as I said earlier, there are Facebook groups for your college for used books. So let's say if someone bought it used, you can sell it used also. It's pretty cheap. Go for that option if you really want a textbook. Otherwise, as I say, I just relied on online notes, and that's pretty much sufficient. The professor usually asks questions from whatever he or she has taught, and he or she makes sure like whatever might be asked will be in the notes which is uploaded. So that's another heads up. Don't stress studying too much. Just read the notes which the professor provides and you should be good. Another thing over here which it's pretty strict is the deadline. If you have a deadline of reporting an assignment or a lab report at let's say the 5th of let's say February, make sure you do it before that. Just don't like their students submitting work late, so better be on time. Otherwise they will not mark it, or you might not get marks for it as you're supposed to. So just be in advance and plan accordingly. As I said, in your weekly outline there will be all the submission dates also, so have a look at that and be on your toes. Moving further regarding your assignments, you will be working on weekends. Probably Saturday and Sunday are what most students prefer to work, because in the weekdays they have their college, and depending on your timetable you will build your part-time job schedule also. Sometimes it will get out of hands to go to your job as long as like along with studying also. You can't have a day off at job, because if you do, let's say have a day off for one day, it's gonna cost you $80 to $90 depending on how much you're paid. So utilize your time while you're traveling or commuting to work up and down. Make sure you have your notes or something in your phone, or have a book or notes, you can read it on the way. I used to do that a lot, like while coming and going to job. I used to have it in my phone, like all the presentations and PDFs. I used to do it while coming and going, like rather than sleeping I was just studying and like utilizing my time. So you can do that too. Another big advice, do not copy anyone's work here. In India, if you did, that was fine, it's India. Over here, do not dare, because if you are caught in plagiarism, you're gonna be given heavy punishment. You might be given warnings depending on how serious it is. It's a big offense to copy someone's work here, and if you do, you need to make sure you citate it. And when you submit your work online, before that make sure you submit it in it's an online self-checker. You can upload it and it will show you if you've copied from someone, how much is copied, and there is teachers usually allow 20 to 25% to be copied depending on what kind of work it is. Some work will require references to be put in, so obviously we'll need to copy something from somewhere. But most of the time, be smart, do not copy, as I say. There is online paraphrases, by the way. If you do want to copy, you can use it there, but make sure you don't get caught, otherwise you're going to pay a very good price for it. So next thing is how to go through winter. Well, in your own home country you might have not been that cold. Over here it gets very cold, trust me, and you need to make sure that you're properly layered and wearing proper clothing, otherwise you're going to freeze to death, trust me. Another thing for winter especially, which people have wrong stereotypes, is you should have winter boots. Well, it's not necessary to have winter boots, depending on you actually. If you know how to walk sensibly, you shouldn't be having any issues. Even if it's too snowy, if you're having shoes at least which are not waterproof, then you might be having issues. But if you have shoes which are a bit waterproof, you should be fine. And most of the places, before it snows, we have the salt spread out everywhere. So the common footpaths and everything are usually not of snow. Surrounding it, it might be snowy, but it gets cleaned up every now and then. When to buy winter clothes? I would say October, November, especially when there's deals going on for winter. There will be a lot of clearance sales and lots of things. That time you should go and buy joggers if you want to keep you pretty warm. There is winter coats, a lot of companies, a lot of variety, a lot of price range. Make sure you have a clothing which is good enough to keep you warm. Don't worry about spending $20, $30 extra. As long as it keeps you warm, that's the main thing. Another thing people complain about is that too cold. Well, those are the people who don't tend to wear proper clothes or layer themselves. They like to be more fashionable and show off their clothes. Well, don't do that if you want to freeze to death. Make sure you're properly layered, make sure you're covering your ears, wearing those headphone, whatever you want, what do you call them. Make sure you're wearing proper cap, winter caps and all. In short, layer yourself and stay warm. Otherwise you're going to be the one complaining, oh, I'm so cold. If you don't wear clothes, you're going to be cold. If you do, there's not an issue. You will be going to work or let's say college, but the only time which I think you will be cold is when you're walking to the bus stop or when you're basically outside. In your house, there's going to be heaters, so no question there. In the bus, you're going to be warm. At your work, at your college, they're also going to be warm. But when you're walking outside, that's the main time. And even if you walk for 20 meters, but if it's freezing cold, you will be cold. Make sure you're warm. And as I say, layer yourself. So another question would be what to do in your summer break. Well, work full time, earn money. You can save for your next semester tuition fees. So if you're looking to work full time, let your manager or supervisor know in advance, or your owner, so they can make sure they know that you want to work full time and they can give you maximum hours in the summer vacation, or let's say if you're having break in winter, then at winter time. But just make sure you notify them ahead so you can get your hours and you can get some good amount of money if you work full time in summer. You can go for vacation. There's a lot of places depending on where you stay. You can enjoy yourself in summer. It's nice and warm over here. The temperature is going to be not as that hot as our home country. Like let's say in India it's around 40 degrees, 45. It won't be that much here, but trust me, the skin will burn over here because of the high radiation of the heat. So just be a little bit extra careful in summer. Make sure you're wearing a hat, sunglasses and all that. Otherwise, summer is very beautiful over here. Moving another big concern which people have is for applying for their United States visa. So when I was back home there, I used to get a suggestion that don't apply until you have lived a year in Canada and those kind of things. Well, to be honest, I applied after 6 months. So there is no difference made if you apply right after you come or after a year. It all depends on your luck. Actually, States visa, seriously, it's all on your luck and how your interview goes. So you can apply whenever you want, but make sure it's sensible, you fill out the form accordingly and your interview goes well, and rest is up to God. As I say, United States visa, I personally think it's all on luck. I was lucky enough I got mine in the first try. I didn't have to get rejected or something, and it was a pretty nice interview also. And must say my luck did favor me on that day. And I had a pretty good time in summer. I went there 3 or 4 times, was good. So you can apply for States visa, you can go to other places, and from your college also there will be global experience tours. So for education, like they take you to different places in Europe. You can apply for there also. You have to contact your college for that. There will be information online and there will be advisors who can help you. And you'll be basically after summer you'll be returning back to school. So make sure you build your timetable and get your fees paid before the deadlines. Otherwise you won't be registered. And once that's done, you'll be going through basically the same routine for your semesters 3rd and 4th, or if it's 5th and 6th. And you'll be pretty much done with your studies, and after your studies you'll be looking forward to apply for your work permit. And then the big question is PR. Well, that's a very complex thing. I can't give you a suggestion of how to become one or what to do. It all depends on your work experience here, if you've studied something back home, how much long you've studied here. So you can search online on that, and depending on which province you're planning to move, what the point system is at that time, what rules and regulations. So don't worry about permanent residency when you come to Canada initially. Think of getting your daily routine started. As I said, finishing the registration things in the beginning, getting on track with your studies, and once that is done, you'll be getting a good life going on. You'll make your friends easily over here in college. Like in class, there'll be a lot of people who will be same as you. You'll be getting a good friend circle, then you'll be tending to go out to places, enjoying restaurants and sightseeing, and there's a lot of things to do here, so don't worry about all that content. But make sure you get a life going beginning over here. And my main advice would be just like, don't stress over the little of things. Step by step, everything will come and go. Don't worry about too ahead, like for permanent residency when you just came to Canada. Think of your first semester. You have to clear that first, then you'll be getting a chance for that, right? So go step by step, don't think too much, and don't stress yourself out. If you need help, there is advisors in college also. Reach out to them, talk to your manager or supervisor at job, talk to seniors who have studied over here, or you can go online. There's a lot of questions and answers which are done over everywhere. So don't stress, as I say again. And I'm 100% sure you're going to enjoy your time over here. You will be getting to meet a lot of new people, a lot of new experiences. You're going to be transforming into someone which you have never been. Trust me, you will change over here, and you should have the capability of adapting to something new. And rather than having ego like I won't change, that's not going to work here. If you do, good luck on progressing in your life. Have connections with everyone. People in Canada, they are very polite and helpful. And another advice, make sure you say sorry and thank you a lot, and you'll be opening a lot of doors for people. Trust me, whenever you're going in malls, houses, apartments, people just hold the doors and you will be like 10 feet away and they will be like waiting for you, so you just have to rush and all those kind of things. Make sure you are aware of that, and I don't have pretty much anything to say. I hope this video has helped you, and please do share the video with everyone else who you think might help. And if you have any questions or concerns, you can pop it into the comments below in the video, and I will try my best to answer you. And I look forward to making a new video as soon as possible.